Hey, everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Saturday, 2025. Sit back and chill. We're going to talk about a couple major issues during this session with my channel. But the major headline here is never listen to critics in photography. And the next thing we'll talk about is I need your help. And that is I need you to make comments on whether you want me to do a certain thing on my channel. Are we ready for this? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, this is dedicated to photography and as a photo artist, pushing ourselves to think creatively out of the box. Now, if you've never followed me before, I try to do this once a month, and it's basically called Saturday. Sit back and chill, grab your favorite beverage. It could be water, any kind of drink. In fact, I'm a red wine drinker. And by the way, a couple of people had asked from the United States here, recommended I guess it's like a subscription or whatever, but there's a lot of different companies out there. And I've got a wine here called Tall Dark Stranger. It's a Malbec from Argentina. And that's what I'm going to be sipping on during the day here. But I became a member of a wine club where they ship out 15 bottles of wine to me. You can do it every like month, 2 months, 3 months. I'm doing it every 3 months. They send out 15 bottles. And it's a variety of stuff like that. So I really thank the people that recommended, hey, going for these different subscription-based type wine companies, and not plug in the name of the company because that wouldn't be appropriate, but there's many of them out there. Do your own research. Okay, let's get into the program. Two major things I'm going to talk about here. Number one has to do with one of my major mentors that really helped me out, and that's Joel Grimes. And the headline here basically is do not listen to critics in photography. And I'll explain why and what Joel had taught me. And I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to show you later some of his newer work and a couple images from the studio behind the scenes that I took, and that you'll be able to see that. And I'll talk about the importance of personal projects. And the thing I'm celebrating here is I finally am finished. And this is, June 2025. I finally finished with client work. I just got done with my last client. It's something I should have done last year. If you don't know me, for 20 years, I've been traveling internationally, teaching Photoshop. I retired in 2016. Got bored sitting around for 2-3 months, got recruited from a school here in Michigan in the USA, teaching different topics. For a while, did that for 3 years straight. And I was still doing client work here and there, and I got bogged down with that. And I realized I don't need to do client work anymore. What I want to do is start building a YouTube channel, chilling out, relaxing, and I want to do personal projects. So one of the things I'm going to share with you is the importance of personal projects. We'll talk about that in depth in upcoming workshops. But let's talk about how critics have actually hurt a lot of people's careers, and the strength that my mentor, Joel Grimes. If you've never heard of Joel Grimes before, he's very well known internationally as a commercial photographer and portrait photographer. He's done different celebrities, but a lot of really big ads for companies like, at that time, Chrysler, I think it was a Dodge Ram truck, pickup trucks. He showed me one of the projects he was working on a few years ago that I couldn't talk about till it was actually published and released. But, he works for some big players. He's retired. He's in his middle 60s. He doesn't need to do client work anymore. He's just sharing his work by doing workshops and other stuff and, different training classes. Okay, so let's get into what he went through, and it's really helpful. And I'll share with you a true story that happened with a fellow photographer that I never even knew, but this was on social media. So let's talk about this. Number one is Joel Grimes, when he graduated from college and his major was in photography, he was actually told in school, after he spent all this money, is that odds are you will never make photography as a living career. How does that set in to you mentally when you spend 4 or 5 years, whatever, I forget, I think it was like 4-year program, and then you're told you spend all this money that you probably will never make it in photography. You're going to have to find a different career. It's too difficult to make it. Well, what happened was when Joel he's from Arizona, he was working in a studio with a friend of his to start, building up a company. And he went out to a possible client, and the client looked at his portfolio and work, and the guy said, you don't have enough talent. You really need to go back to Arizona and find a different career. You're never going to cut it in photography. And that hurt him so bad, and he got so depressed, it brought him down to tears. And he just was totally going to give up, which I never knew before. And for somebody to say that is pretty nasty, but again, it really hurt him. And I'll tell a different story here in a few minutes, but I had to write stuff down because in the talking points, I had to jot down stuff so I don't forget about things. But he was ready to get out of photography. And, and it just, the criticism really, really bothered him. And then a good friend of him said, I had to write this down, don't let a person steal your dreams. That's just one person. And what he learned was, we're all like this. We don't like rejection and bad criticism, whatever. And you just got to know that it wasn't a right fit at that time. So he said the next time he went out, again, didn't work, got criticized, but it didn't bother him as much. And he went out again and again, criticized, and it didn't bother him as much. He got thick-skinned with that. The biggest thing is he never gave up. That's my point. And that's what the point he's trying to make to me. Never, ever give up in your dream. Keep fighting and go through it. And he said, you know what? He goes, I am not the greatest photographer in the world. I'm a good photographer, but I'm not the best. But he goes, I know people that have greater talent than me, and they can never make it in business. And the reason is they gave up. He says, I was thick-skinned and could take the criticism after I got through that hard one in the very beginning. And I kept working harder and harder and harder. And all of a sudden, everything started to fall in place for him. So that's what I'm trying to project to you. And he was projecting to me is never give up on your dreams. And he goes, not everybody's going to love your work, but you can make a successful business by just 10% of people that you see in client work. And one of the things that he really helped me, and he took me under his wing on this, and that is when I was coming up with a concept where I got influenced by Norman Rockwell. I'll put one of the images here, but this is about maybe 80% of my work over the last few years, working with kids between, say, the age of 5 to 12 years old. But when he saw what he was doing, I asked him, well, do you critique images at all? And he goes, absolutely not. And I was shocked when I heard that. And I go, well, why? He says, Steve, you're an artist. I don't know what your vision is. It's wrong for me to impose my feelings on your work because I'm going to look at it a different way than you. What you need to do is keep plugging away, working hard at this concept, and don't get distracted. He goes, too many people come up with an idea and they do a few things and then they skip it and they jump to something else, and they never honed in on their skills on that one particular style and look. And that was a big lesson for me because he said, you need to do about 100, if not more of these, and you will automatically refine your skills to get stronger and better at that. And then people will find you and they will love that type of work. Will everybody love it? Absolutely not. 90% won't. But the ones that love it, they will pay a premium for that because nobody else is doing that. And that was one of my big life lessons in photography, is not getting caught up in critiquing. And he's not a big fan. And I hate this because some of my other mentors are the same way. They don't believe in critiquing and they don't follow rules except for one rule. And that is a photo artist follows one rule, and that is there are no rules. So I don't like this phrase, but I hear it a lot, and that is a lot of people have what's called a camera club mentality, where they're locked in a box and you got to follow these rules, and they submit their images for critiquing, they submit their images for contests and stuff like that. It's fine if you want to do that, but it's tough to do that if you're trying to build a business. And a lot of the say misinformation out there is, oh, but if you win all these awards and stuff like that, it will help you attract clients. Well, guess what? Most of the time it doesn't. It goes against you, because I know and bumped into a lot of people have won a ton of awards and they're struggling and they can't make it in photography as a business. And a lot of times people, when they see awards, when you're, say showcasing that, it comes across as, well, you're going to be more expensive than the average guy or average gal out there, a photographer. And I don't, So in other words, it can work against you. Okay. It's a nice pat on the back by, your peers and stuff like that you won these awards, but be careful with that. If you're doing this as a hobby and you don't care about business and that, I think it's a great thing, okay, to get involved in something like that. But business-wise, it's you just be careful on that. So he really worked hard on me on that, and basically I had to write some stuff down. He says, just don't get sidetracked with nonsense like that. He says, focus on what you love to do, beat that pavement, and do this over and over again, and you'll get really good at your concept, your look, and people will hire you for that. And you're going to find that you're going to have very, very little competition because nobody's doing what you're doing. So that is great advice, and I'm going to share with you some of his work and some behind the scenes here in a minute. But before I get into that, let me share with you a story about what happened to a fellow photographer that I really didn't know, and I think I handled it pretty well. So let's go into that example. Okay, let's get into the quick story here. Before I do that, if you've ever heard of Joel Grimes, I'll put the link to his website in the show notes so you can look at his work and see what he's all about. He's in his middle 60s right now, just had a beautiful, beautiful career in photography. And please stay to the end, because I'm going to ask you if you can help me out in the comment section whether I should do certain things in the near future. Okay, quickly, the story is I belong to different say photography groups. They're closed groups. You got to be invited on the social media. And I was visiting one of them and just going through it really quick. And I saw an image where a gal had showcased that she does headshot photography and showed an example of her work. And I saw all these comments right after that. And I go, wow, what are they talking about? And they jumped in, and it's like, oh my gosh, the critiquing that went on. Oh, you should have done this. You should have done that. I would have used 2 lights. You needed a background light. I mean, and not only that, the people that were critiquing her stuff, and she never asked for critiquing. She just, this is what I do. And the ones that were critiquing were actually battling each other because they were disagreeing with each other statements. It was sort of funny to watch it, but I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this might discourage her. So I felt like chiming in on the conversation, but I'm thinking, man, if I do this is like throwing gasoline into the fire. So I just held back, and basically I just contacted privately and said, hey, I got a couple questions to ask you. And that is, did the client like your work? And the answer was yes. Did they pay for your services? Yes. Then I said, that's all that matters. Just keep focusing on what you love to do. You will automatically, if you keep doing this over and over again, you will refine your technique. It just comes subconsciously. I don't know why, it just does as you keep doing it over and over again. But don't listen to this noise on social media regarding the image that you had posted. Totally stupid, okay? Focus on what you love to do. Clients only care about 2 things. 1, they like your work. 2, they came to an agreement on what they're going to pay you. That's all they care about. That's all they care about. And I got the nicest thank you because that stuff really affected her. And I felt that because when I'm reading these comments from these, other photographers criticizing her work, and all the critics were criticizing each other, it was sort of comical, but it's like, this could destroy somebody. So that's just a quick thing. Focus on what you love to do and shut the noise out. Okay, just get good at your craft by practicing and doing it over and over and over again. Because again, if you're doing it for yourself, you are the one that only matters, okay? But if you're doing it for client work, does the client like your work? and are they happy with what you're charging? That's all that matters. Okay, just focus on that. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's take a look at some examples of some of the things that I've discovered with Joel. And he taught me that, you want to, about every 3 to 5 years, reinvent yourself as a photo artist. I have to be honest, I have not had a chance to do that at all. And that's one of the reasons why I said, this is it. I am no longer doing client work, because I kept saying that for the last couple of years, and my daughter's been on my back. Why are you so busy doing this? You're supposed to be retired, type of thing. And I love my daughter dearly, but I just, Steve had a problem with something, and that's called saying no when people, make an offer that you can't refuse. It's almost like getting work from the mafia, "Well, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse," type of thing. And so, okay, I'll do it, type of thing. But anyhow, finally, I want to do some things. And at the end here, I'm going to talk about where I need your help on some stuff. But let's take a look at some of Joel's work right now that's in a different direction than some of his past work. Are we ready? Let's do it. Okay, so here's an example about reinventing yourself. If you ever known Joel's work in the past with composite, with sports people and stuff like that, just that propelled his career quite a bit. This is totally different. So I apologize right up front. This is just a behind-the-scenes image right here in the studio in Southern California that he works out of once in a while. So that's him working. If you notice, he typically works on a tripod all the time, and this is communicating back to his subject as he's doing the photography work. So let's take a look at this. Is I didn't want to sit there and show a whole bunch of different background stuff, but let me show you the work. He's just working off a sort of a neutral gray background, and he's adding textures and other things to his images when he gets done. But this is like fine art stuff. I really, really like this. It's just a different concept quickly. I mean, you may like this, you may not, but it's just totally different. That's one of my favorite images right there. I love that one. This one, I mean, it's like, you can tell I'm a big fan of this, but it's just something that's totally, totally different. And he adds these textures. He calls it his Santa Fe wall here by adding the texture, and even adds texture to the floor that after he was done, shooting the subjects and stuff. Is that creative or what? So there's another one right there. I love that right there. And again, this type of work, again, black and white, I just love it. And again, he's just reinventing himself by focusing on a different type of body of work. And that's what he talks about, is every 3 to 5 years, you just got to go out there and attack something and do, again, what you love to do, but do something different. Okay, so with this out of the way, hopefully I made my point on to sit back and chill out on Saturday here. Here's where I need your help. And that is, if you could do this in the comments section, do you want me to do some behind the scenes video of me working on projects and taking a look at the images I'm shooting and why I'm shooting at a different way, maybe my camera settings, that kind of stuff, and then watching me maybe edit one of the images and show you a handful of images that I completed. If you do, I'll do that on I can't say on a regular basis all the time, but I'll interject that. So if you can do this in the comment section, just put down, yes, do some behind the scenes work, and that will help me out to do that. Because again, I'm not a video person. I will get better at it the more I do it, but I may need to get some special equipment to help me because I'm a one-person show. But please do that for me. I really appreciate to find out whether you guys would be interested in me doing that. Okay, so guys, again, and gals, whatever, let's get the camera out. Let's make mistakes and shoot. Why? Because that's the way we learn, by making those mistakes. And literally, let's think creatively out of the box. Until next time, see ya.